Hi guys, I'm Chris. Welcome to this week's tutorial. Let's draw together. So glad to be back, guys. I have taken a little break, as you can tell, over summer, so really happy to be back with you guys. As you can see, I also got a new iPad. Just for reference, it's a Generation 5 and 12.9 inches, 256 gigabytes. So I know my last one was pretty and white, and this one is black, and it's not really working with my color scheme, but we will fix that soon, hopefully. So today we are going to be drawing a bear in Procreate, and it's kind of more of a vintage inspired bear. So I'm sure you can create this too if you follow along all the way to the end of the video. This bear is featured in my new pack, the Bear Family Portraits, so you can find that, and I'll put a link in the description below where you can see all the bears and the whole family. So if you feel rushed, just be sure to hit that pause or just rewind to catch up and save this video to your library so you can re-watch if you need some extra practice. So today we'll be using all free brushes found in Procreate. And don't forget, once you finish this entire video, share it on Instagram and tag me in the image as well as the description so I can find your artwork and feature you here in the next Draw Together video. So for this video, I've made you a free color palette. So I'll put that in the video description below, and you can download that and install it into Procreate. So let's just dive in, and as usual, yeah, I'm sure you guys have missed this, my canvas is 4000 by 4000 pixels, 300 DPI, and sRGB. Okay, so I'm gonna just start with my classic 6B pencil. You can find it in sketching, 6B pencil. That's what we'll just use for our line work and whatnot. I'm just going to grab the darkest brown just for my sketching. Again, this is just going to be the rough part, so feel free to use whatever color you want. So this is going to be the baby bear, so I'm just going to start by drawing a circle. And another little circle here for one ear, another little circle here for the other. And I'm just going to draw like a little triangular shape here. She's going to be wearing a little dress, like so. And her arms will come along here. And then her little legs, they're going to just turn in just a touch, not too much. They're going to be sort of cylindrical shape, kind of like that. Okay, so that's our basic shape. So you can see I have her head sort of, sorry, I'm just slightly on the angle here. So that's sort of the, I'm just gonna do this midline. Oops. I'm gonna do the midline here about that. And her eyes are gonna rest somewhere around there. Just really low. Again, if we're doing something quite juvenile, having the eyes lower is often helps achieve that look. Okay, let's just see, I want that bigger. So we can just start adding a few placements of things. I'm gonna have her nose here. It's gonna be kind of probably, well, right now we'll just sort of do more of a square shape. It's gonna be below the eye level. Her eyes are gonna be about here. Around there. Okay, already you can see it's looking quite young. Maybe it's more of a toddler than a baby, I suppose, because it's standing, but anyways, you get the idea. Okay, so maybe I'll just kind of make some indications of what I'm going to do for the clothing. I'm going to just give her a little bow here. And it's gonna kind of be like, you know, around her head. Okay, and I'm gonna do sort of, what is this called, smocking or something like that? This sort of bit around here, sort of a collar. It's gonna extend to the sleeves as well. Put some detail on it maybe. Her sleeves will kind of come out. And she'll have some trim on there as well. All right, and then we'll also give her a little pocket and sort of a detail there. Her mouth is just going to be really simple. It's just going to come a line down there, and then just going to have this I'm actually going to start doing a little bit more with her face here. I'm just going to slightly erase, oops, erase this. I'm going to not have it to be an exact circle all the way along here. Let's just erase this. So I have my circle up top, and then here it's just going to kind of come down and square out just a touch. You can kind of get that idea. Just so her head's not a complete, well, like just a circle. And we'll have sort of that lower lip coming there. Something like that. Okay, and I'm not gonna have this line here. This sort of smocking business is gonna come. I hope that's right. I remember my mom always saying that. That was a little, I think it's the way the fabric is. All right. I think that's good. I'm just gonna kind of let myself know what's going on here. Color that in. These will be dark, obviously. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. I've done it dark enough for you. There's our quick sketch. Okay, so then I'm going to go into my layers and knock that opacity back by hitting the N and just bringing that way down. Whatever works for you. I'm going to have mine probably around, I don't know, 15%. Actually, I'm going to, of course, create a new layer so I can draw on top. So I'm going to have my my sketching, my 6B at about, I think actually what I have it at is fine. It's going to be at about 50%, the brush size, and 100% opacity, of course. So then I'm just going to go in and start doing some little hairs. So I'm just kind of going around and giving this a little bit of a furry look, of course. Just where, oops. Just kind of getting that line work in. Making sure that I'm figuring out this shape here, just making it a little bit more square. Just trying to be messy. I like my stuff hand drawn, as you probably know. That kind of look, you know, not too sleek. Kind of old-fashioned-y. Well, which obviously works with a vintage bear. But of course you can do it however you prefer your look. Okay. And let's just do a little pause here. And the legs. Gonna be a little bit heavier on the bottom just to kind of give that a little weight. Okay, it's all the furry parts. So I'm just gonna go in and actually use the side of my brush, of my pencil here, and just give myself a little shading. Sometimes I like that. It gives it a little bit of a grungier look, and I can just start doing a few shadows in here too. Kind of like how that works. Okay. Maybe under here too. Actually, we could do some facial features here, so I'm just outline the eyes. The eyes are going to be fairly dark. I'm not going to have any whites in them. They're going to be a little bit more teddy bear-ish in that way. Okay, and I'm just going to color them in. Still keeping them, I'm not going to make it solid, just still sort of that scratchy look. Kind of using the side of my brush. Okay. And then the little nose. Sort of a rounded square shape, I guess. And the same thing, just going to color it in. Okay. Great, that's a good start. That part, I'm just gonna sort of, maybe it's shade in here a little bit. Just really lightly, sort of start to build it up a little bit. So there's gonna be a shadow in here. Okay. Oops, made a little mistake. Okay. Next, I'm going to just start getting the colors for the dress and whatnot. So actually I'm going to start with the bow and the sleeves. Those are going to be the same color. So I'm actually going to do this on a new layer. So just hit the plus sign. Let's go to our colors and get this darkest orangey color and do the outlining of the bow and the sleeves. So again, I'm just going to be, I like to play with the pressure on my pen so it gives it a little bit more, instead of just being like straight, I like to kind of go, you know, push and pull, and so it makes it a bit more of an interesting line just across the board. I don't know, I kind of like that look a bit. So it's kind of more like a headband. Oops. All right, and obviously I'm making all sorts of marks here. I'm going to make that sort of so it's all gathered here, so you can see that line kind of being all like that. I think that'll make more of a fabric-y look. Okay, while I'm thinking about it, I'm just going to go back to my other layer and just clean up what I've done. These little marks everywhere. Okay, so I'm going to create a new layer, so by hitting the plus sign and grabbing this dark blue, and let's finish up this little dress here. Oops. All right, oh my goodness, I'm terrible at this today. Right, Then I'm just going to do the detail. Actually, you know what? I forgot to give you a color here. I'm going to give a little bit of a purple. I'm going to need it to be a little warmer than that, I think. Maybe somewhere around there. Yeah, sure. And then a darker variation. Okay, so I'm going to just go and do this little pocket. Okay. And then lastly, I need the details. Oh, that did not do it on another, you know what? It actually doesn't matter. We can do it all on the same layer. It's totally fine because I'm not going to be changing these colors. If you wanted to, then you can do them on different layers and have that so you can make choices with your color options, but we can leave it as is. That's fine. And I'm going to add just one more color here, sort of a, let's see, beigey, but slightly on to the green. Something like that. Okay, yeah, that's good for this part. So I'm gonna do this little lace detail. So they're just scallops. So I'm just doing that. On the trim of the collar and the sleeves, and also on the pocket. Oops, jittery hand. Okay, I'm just gonna, actually I'm gonna bring my brush down just a little bit to about 30. I'm just gonna put little teeny circles in here. Actually, I'm going to turn this layer off, my background layer. I don't need it right now. I'm just going to go in and do these little circles to make it look like eyelet. Eyelet's a kind of a lace, thicker lace, I think. Oh goodness, I need to wear that glove thingy, making everything move with my hands. And I can do some little more details here. There we go, let's finish this. And I'm going to do a little stitching. Great. Okay. And then I'm going to go back to my dark blue again and just do some more detail here. There's going to be some little, where the creases are, the little folds here. Make it look a little bit more like fabric. Okay, and then this is a detail that I'd like to have happen. So I'm just going to draw lines, basically horizontal and vertical, following the direction of the collar, and kind of using my pressure to make it a little bit more interesting, sort of up and down, kind of give it more of like a, I don't know, waffled effect. Hopefully that will, oops, seriously, so touchy today. Wonder if you guys have the same problem I do sometimes. Okay, and then I'm going to come in vertically here. I'm going to start from the center and go out, maybe get it more even that way. Good stuff. Right, you know what, let's just do a little stitching here. I like adding a little stitching sometimes, looks cute. Okay. All right, time to fill this in. Let's do that. Okay, so I'm gonna go, I can get rid of my, my sketch layer now, and I can just add a layer to the very bottom, and I'm gonna do a fill color. So I'm gonna get this light beige color. Actually, I'm gonna turn off the background for you so you can see better. I'm just gonna go grab into the inking and grab that, where am I? My studio pen. And the studio pen is going to be, I guess that's okay, at about 35%. Oh, I see I've forgotten the little curve on that ear there. That's okay, we can go back and do that in a minute. So I'm just gonna fill in the bear's body. As quick as I can. I'm just gonna be making sure that I am like having the line overlap. Okay, then I'm gonna take my color and just drag and drop it. Perfect. Do little hands. And the legs. All right, and then I'm just gonna add a new layer and get the light blue and fill in where we have all the blue. Okay, add a new layer, and I'm going to grab this light orangey color, do the sleeves and the bow. And lastly, I'm just gonna do the little eyelet pieces. I'm gonna actually, let's see, make this just a hair lighter for this part. Okay, so, oops, nope, we have a little more. Nearly had it. And the purple. Just grab a new layer. I'm just gonna go underneath that white layer and put in the purple. Okay. Wonderful. So we now have it all blocked in. Thank goodness. Okay, so I'm going to actually go back into that white layer, the eyelet layer, click on that light color, go back to sketching and grab the 6B. I'm just going to put like a little pattern on her dress here. Oh, this orange dot. Okay. And I'm just going to make a simple little pattern. It's just going to be 4 little dots in a cluster, kind of like a diamond. Let's see here, I'll show you. So just like dot, 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 dot. Simple, right? So I'm just going to stagger those. Okay, and same goes on this side. Anywhere I can get some extra little detail, I'm gonna do it. Okay, that's good. All right, so let's do a little bit of shading and get this face going a little bit better. Okay, so I'm gonna just go and create a new layer and have this, let's see, this medium brown, because there's a few browns here. And still with my 6B, I'm just gonna start sort of just lightly sort of shading in around the eye socket a little bit. Sort of in there. And kind of getting it sort of set back a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to grab the almost dark brown here and maybe just sort of have a few hairs. Kind of like how we did the dog a little bit. That Yorkie Terrier. I have a video on that somewhere. Similar type thing. That's what I was thinking about when I was doing these eyes. Sort of like that. I'm not going to do all the hairs, of course, just kind of alluding to it a little bit, setting that back. Same with here, I'm just going to have a few kind of coming off the nose here. Hope you are able to see this. Let's see if we can go in a little bit more. Just sort of in this direction. So I'm just sort of really lightly dusting, just going back in that direction. And then coming up. Just a few. I'm not, again, like I said, I'm not going to do every hair. Just sort of establishing a little bit here. Sort of in a fan motion a little bit. Okay. She has a bit of a blank stare at the moment, so let's try to fix that. I'm going to do a new layer on top of our this dark line layer, and just get sort of, actually just use this light white, it's kind of more of a cream, and just give her a little highlight here. Just doing a little light circle on the side of my brush, and then I'm just going to give her a little darker, harder circle right beside. They kind of overlap. Let's see if that works. Maybe a little just shade of lighting down here. Not quite. Maybe more here. Sort of doing like a U shape, just sort of lightly building it up until I like the look of it. Sort of underneath here. Yeah, see how that makes that sort of a glassy look, like a teddy bear? All right. Glassy usually doesn't mean a good thing, but you know what I mean? They have the glass type eyes. So there, and a little shiny nose. All right, so now that's getting a little bit more personality, I think. I want to get some texture going. I feel this is a little blah. Actually, while I'm here, I'm gonna just go and do this little bit I missed, this little ear tuck in there. Okay, that's better. Actually, it's a little high. Ugh. Go down there. Okay. Let's go and do some clipping masks. Okay, so I'm gonna go back into my layers, and on this body layer, I'm gonna click on that, click the plus sign, tap on that layer, and it will come up clipping mask. So everything I draw in here will be attached to the layer, the solid layer below. It won't go outside of that. So that'll make it really easy for us. I'm gonna do this sort of midway taupey sort of color. I'm gonna go into my brushes, and let's think, I'll probably just use my usual favorite, where is it? Gouache in painting. And I'm just gonna go, and everything's gonna mostly be to the right hand side. Just gonna do some shading here. Just sort of building that up. I should tell you, I'm at about 25%. You can layer it because of course it's like paint, so it can layer. And you can feel free to move your brush size around just for depending on what you're wanting to do. I'm gonna do it so like the dress is gonna be casting a shadow a little bit there. And you can just make the sleeves and cast a little shadow, kind of like that. So your body would be too. Just maybe her chin would be a little darker. I'm gonna make the brush a bit bigger, about, oh gosh, I can't even see, 30 something. Just kind of giving it a little texture. I'm being loose with it. I like to kind of go back on my brush a little bit when I'm doing this. Makes me feel like a little bit, helps with making it feel a little loose and a little light-handed. Again, I'm gonna go really big. Just, oops, not that. Dot in here. Maybe under here. I'm gonna go back lower again, maybe about 10 underneath the bow. That might have a little bit of shadow there. Okay, while we're here on this layer, I'm going to do the little one beside it. Not sure if this is gonna be too dark or not, but let's see. Where am I going? I'm gonna go to charcoal and the to be compressed. Bump it up all the way, 100%. Let's just do a light dust. You can see it just gives it some texture. I don't want it to be flat. I mean, you can have it flat totally, but that's just my personal preference. And then I'm going to bring this light color, the lightest white we have, go back to my painting and gouache. I'm going to have it about, leave it at about 10%. I'm going to just make these cheeks a little bit lighter. So I'm just going to just layer that on a little bit. Sort of the muzzle, I want it to be a little lighter. That kind of thing. And then I'm actually going to grab, oh, I need to make you a pink. Let's just do that. Something kind of rosy. Okay. And then maybe have this brush around 8. And let's just give her a little cheek. Something like that. Hopefully you can see just a little color. I can smudge that a little bit too if I need to, so I don't really want an edge that much. And again, while I'm thinking about it, we're gonna go back to the dark layer, the line layer, grab that dark brown, go back to sketching 6B and just do the little freckles. They're not freckles, they're whisker little marks, but you know what I mean. All right, another little added cuteness. Very good, we can see that, excellent. Okay, I'm actually gonna go back to this layer, this shading layer, and get that medium brown and maybe my gouache again. Where are you, gouache? Why can I never think about that? Get my gouache again, so painting, gouache. Gonna keep it on about 8 and just sort of darken in where these eye sockets are as well. Sort of establishing that like we were starting to before. Get that in there. It's a bit much. Maybe a little bit in here where it would bend there. So you can see that might be a bit of a shadow in there. And in here, sort of maybe a little bit underneath. And where the little ears are, I'm actually gonna probably warm that up a touch with a little bit of pink too. Sort of layer it. There, it's kind of cute. Okay, I think her dress is gonna need some shading, so I'm gonna click on the dress, hit that plus sign, tap on the layer, clipping mask, grab this medium brown. Let's stick with our gouache. I'm gonna stay on about 10% still and just sort of give it a little something. Let's push it back really a lot more underneath where her head is. So just moving that so you can see that sits that back a little bit better there. Bring it down even more to maybe about 4 and just sort of paint in these little bits here, these little folds, and maybe kind of establish this shadow here. I'm staying established a lot today. All right, kind of get the idea. Move this back up to about 8. Maybe there's going to be a few folds here, you know. And you can always blend them in a little bit too if you want. Oh, my blender is just on a simple airbrush soft blend, by the way. Just a really simple little brush, but you can be more creative with your blenders if you want. I think that's okay for right this second. Then I'm gonna go to the pocket, clipping mask, get that dark purple. Same thing, just give it a little something. Perfect. And then to the orange, same thing. Plus, clipping mask. Let's get that. Let's get the medium. See how that does. Might not be enough. That's okay. You're just gonna build it up a little bit. Sort of make that work. And we can get in here. Actually, I kind of want that darker. The darker orange. Really darkening that on the side there just to make that look like it's going around. All right. All right, well, I think that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. So glad to be back with you all. And if you are interested in seeing the rest of these teddy bears, the full pack is available in the description below. So go check that out at the shop. And of course, there's the color palette in there, and don't forget about the free goodie bag. Love to give that to you. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, please hit that like button, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell icon so you can be notified of new tutorials just like this one. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.